All right, welcome to another Blue Bloods Fish Report. It's Trey
Yo.
Smith and Brandon Holmes of the Blue Bloods College Game Time podcast. Find us on Apple and Spotify and whatever platform you use for your podcast. So, B. Holmes, here's the Fish Report question of today. The Blue Bloods Fish Report. Does Coach Sarkisian, the Texas Longhorns head man, does he survive and make it to year 2 as the University of Texas head football coach?
I think a couple things kind of come into play. The biggest caveat that I say, the only way I say yes is if this one name does not pop up. If Urban Meyer is still the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars next year, I say Sark, yes, he stays. If he is not, UT, as we all know, is the richest program in the country. They will buy Sark out like it is on the dollar menu at McDonald's. They will buy that contract out, and they will call Urban Meyer. And here's why. I think it's a serious thing. Obviously, we see what's happening with Urban in the NFL. It's kind of buzzed down a little bit. Jaguars aren't being too successful. We can all tell that we don't think it's going to translate well. I mean, the reports since he's gotten there have not been good. I also think Urban doesn't like not having the control he had in college. As we know, the NFL is a different thing. Like, you have to answer to somebody. In college, the only person you're answering to is really the AD. And what is the AD going to do to you when you're winning a ton of football games? So I think if Urban feels like if he's going to opt out, or if Jacksonville decides to go another way, I think UT kind of, and I think I don't know anything, right? I don't have any insiders, but I'm sure they've already kind of done a litmus test to kind of see, hey, is this something you're really interested in? Because Urban has said he would only coach at 4 different schools when he left Florida. It was Notre Dame, it was Ohio State, it was USC, and it was UT. Oh, and he threw Michigan in there. But I think that's what happens. I think they've probably already reached out. They're trying to get a feel, and if it looks like he's not making it out of Jacksonville, I believe they fire Sark. They call it what it is. It was a wash because I'm looking. They are on a 3-game losing streak right now, possibly 4 because they play ISU next week, the Fighting Cyclones. And if that happens, if he loses next week, Trey, he's done. He's done. That's all I have to say. If he loses next week, he's done, and I believe Urban Meyer would be the next head coach.
Well, and here's what I have to say on that. I'm pulling it up now as well. So that loss to Baylor on Saturday, that's got the fan base and the alumni and some of the important people thinking and considering, do we need to make a change? You got to remember, Texas tends to have the reputation that the Dallas Cowboys have as it pertains to the question, are the big money guys too hands-on in the operations of the football program, which is what a gripe a lot of people have about the Cowboys and the Joneses. But here's what I'll say. The dominoes that need to fall for this to happen are LSU and USC have to look elsewhere, because those have to be considerations for Urban Meyer right now. I think those programs have strong consideration for bringing Urban Meyer. However, I think if you listen to our podcast, we dropped Sunday night, our week 9 recap of the college football action. You mentioned Mel Tucker, who's you believe is all but gone, a shoe-in to the LSU job, following in the tracks of his former mentor, Nick Saban. He was a GA on Saban's staff at Michigan State, then joined Saban when Saban left Michigan State to go to LSU. So if Mel Tucker goes to LSU, and there's been reports, you can go on the Fan Nation SI sites, there was a report that a source close to the LSU program thinks that they're looking to hire a minority coach for that spot. Okay.
Smart hire. Be smart.
And then I think that USC right now is all in on James Franklin.
Hey, now I don't mean to cut you off, but he did switch. He switched his agent. I text you that. He switched his agent, and there's been a lot of rumbling about him going to USC.
Sexton.
I mean, it's been heavy. Yes.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, here's the deal. With him hiring Sexton, whether he goes or not, he's getting richer. Okay.
Right.
And that's what's about to happen for all these coaches that are under Sexton, is he's about to use these 2 prime jobs being open to like make some people rich. But
Right.
I think if Tucker goes to LSU, I think if Franklin goes to USC, and Urban Meyer just crawls to the end of this season, we could see a Saban-like domino when Saban left Miami, the Dolphins, to go to Alabama, where then, to your point, the boosters around Texas take care of the financials. Urban gets through this season, whatever they end up, 1-16, 2-15, whatever it ends up being, and then they make the move. So I think if the dominoes at LSU and USC fall that way, and then Texas is sitting there at the end of the season, like either barely bowl eligible or, dare I say, not bowl eligible at all, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to be the case. But I know right now Longhorn fans are like already going, do we just want to cut
pitchforks?
Yeah, do we just want to cut our losses now and then try to go all in on someone? Because you got to think, if they could bring Urban Meyer to town, that would all but assure them national prominence.
And I just thought about this. Another lure to get in Urban would be this. Not only is it UT, not only is it one of the most prominent football programs in the country based upon history, money, all those things, to join in the SEC. A recruiting bed and a league he knows very well. So I think all those things add a factor that for him probably makes a lot more sense than staying in Jacksonville.
And here's what's crazy. At that point, I don't even think it's so much about Sark as much as it is about Meyer. If those two jobs get taken, since those are the biggest ones open right now, and then Texas, because I'm looking at their schedule right now, I mean, they could still finish the season 8-4 with a bowl game, get to 9-4. That's still not good enough for the what Texas, the fan base and the boosters and all that, that doesn't still meet the expectation. But I mean, 9-4 in your first year, and kind of what he's been doing with recruiting, it seems like he's tapped into the offense and things of that nature. Where they're losing hope already, though, is the way they're losing these games. They're up big, and then they allow these come from behind victories late in the second half, and that's happened 3 weeks in a row now. And so they're going, okay, did we just open up a domino effect at OU that then the same thing happened at Oklahoma State, and then the same thing happened this past weekend at Baylor. And so we'll see. But I could foresee a circumstance where if Urban Meyer gets to the tail end of that season and there's a lot of smoke around him wanting to leave and get back to college, and none of those big-time jobs are open, I could see Texas, just with, regardless of how they finish the season from here on out, going, that's our guy. Let's go get him.
Right.
Other than that, though, I think Sark's safe for another year.
Well, I guess we'll see, bro. I guess we'll see.
All right. Blue Bloods, Fish Report.
Have a great one.
Signing off.
Peace.